Welcome to this episode of The More You Know, a series of short videos produced by the Pennsylvania Link to Aging and Disability Resource Service Area 13 partners. Service Area 13 consists of Berks, Lancaster, and Lebanon counties, and it's one of the 15 service areas across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that exist to provide long-term living information resources for persons aged 60 and over, persons with a disability, veterans, family members, and caregivers. My name is Margie Degler Pizarro. I'm your host for this series. I am a geriatric and palliative care nurse practitioner who is passionate about advocating for abundant living and aging. The Pennsylvania Link to Aging and Disability Resource is part of a nationwide initiative developed to take a seamless approach in the way that we assist seniors and adults with disabilities who need help with activities of daily living. When you need long-term living information or assistance, do call the Pennsylvania Link to Aging and Disability Resource Center toll-free hotline at 1-800-753 8827. The title of today's episode is Getting to Know the Lebanon Area Agency of Aging. And of course, my guest for today is Carol Davies, its administrator. And as always, the purpose for today's interview is to bring a renewed awareness of this service to discuss in detail everything that is available with this service with the Lebanon Area Agency of Aging, as well as the persons who may need these services so that all has an up-to-date source of information. So Carol, thank you so much for being here today. First of all, before we get into details, if I were to ask you to sum up in one or two sentences how the Area Agency of Aging could help persons in need of it, what would you tell me?
I would tell you it's hard to say what we do in one or two sentences, but I appreciate this opportunity to talk about that, Margie. I would say the nutshell version of what we do is we're here to help people 60 years of age and older live with independence and with dignity, and to provide them with a good array of area agency on aging services.
Okay, thank you so much, Carol. And as we were talking before we started recording, there's so much that each area agency on aging has available. I'm looking forward to you touching on some of the key programs for our folks today. Can you take a few moments and expound on some of the benefits that your office can offer to people calling in?
Sure. We are the Area Agency on Aging for people who are 60 years of age and older in Lebanon County. So we are an entity of Lebanon County government, and we receive the bulk of our funding from the Pennsylvania Department of Aging, particularly with funding from the Pennsylvania Lottery. And that helps us provide what we like to think of as a continuum of services that can benefit people at varying levels of need or desire who are 60 years of age and older. That obviously encompasses a very broad spectrum of ages and abilities. Certainly, an active and independent 60-year-old may have much different needs than a 95-year-old who is homebound. But certainly, age isn't the only factor that might affect an individual's needs and abilities. So what we try to do is provide things that are available for people who are active and independent. So we provide volunteer opportunities, we provide senior center opportunities for people to socialize and share a meal perhaps with some of their peers. We also offer our Medicare counseling services, which can benefit anybody who receives Medicare services and help them understand all the complexities of Medicare, because Medicare is really quite complex. So those are some things that might benefit people who are relatively independent and don't have a lot of needs. As a person might become more needy, we might get a call from somebody who could benefit from in-home services. And at that point, one of our care managers might visit with them and determine what their needs are, and determine if there are services that we provide that could assist them, as well as connect them with other services that are available in the community.
Okay.
And then Even as people get more needy, there might be somebody who is in a nursing home or needs to access nursing home level of care. So we do assess for nursing home level of care. We also provide the Ombudsman through Lebanon County, and we also provide our older adult protective services that assist people who are at risk of being abused or neglected, exploited, or abandoned.
Thank you so much. Those, I would agree, are key services. And as far as the senior centers and participating there, getting a meal, I know we in Pennsylvania had some regulations related to COVID that are slowly being lifted. Are the Lebanon area senior centers due to be open anytime soon?
We are evaluating our senior center opening on a regular basis. Right now, our 5 senior centers in the county are closed, but our senior center managers are staying in touch with the people who regularly attend. They're offering some activities via virtual forums. We're also, one of our senior centers also actually started a conference called Bingo for people who don't have access to computer information. And they're also mailing informational packets and making phone calls, particularly to those who are socially isolated. We are evaluating we meet regularly to determine when we can reopen the centers. And we're hoping we'll be able to do that soon, although we don't have a definite date at this time.
Okay, and Carol, there was something that I found interesting on your website when I was reviewing it. In terms of COVID, the fraud alerts that are out there because of the scams going on with COVID and seniors. Could you speak to that for a moment, please?
We do try to keep people updated on the potential scams that are out there. The COVID pandemic has certainly brought a lot of opportunity for people who have bad intent to scam older adults, and we do want people to be aware of them. Most recently, with vaccine availability, there were scams relating to how a person could perhaps pay to get their vaccine earlier. And of course, that was a scam, and we don't want anybody to participate in that.
Wow, that's really scary and sad to think that people would stoop to that level. Now, you did mention about nursing home waiver, which brings me to, or nursing home assistance with Ombudsman to be there supporting patients and families in nursing facilities. And we also, of course, have the PDA waiver that allows people that are nursing home eligible to either come home from a nursing facility or perhaps never go there in the first place with the services that are involved with waiver. Would you share a little bit about that program, please?
Certainly, the PDA waiver is a program that does allow individuals to stay at home with usually a very high level of in-home supports. What we do as part of that process is assess the individual to determine if they meet the criteria for a nursing home level of care. Even if the person meets the criteria for a nursing home level of care, doesn't mean they have to go to a nursing home, but it does help them to qualify for the PDA waiver. There are other pieces of waiver application, which include a financial piece that is not done in our office, but we do help people get that process started.
Terrific. And I really love that you have available in your office the Caring Calls program. Can you share about that?
We do offer the Caring Calls program. Our care managers are aware of that and do refer appropriate people to the program.
And what would that look like for somebody that may be interested in one of those calls?
This is a program with RSVP where they connect a person to a volunteer who is interested and willing to give them a call. So it gives the person a connection in the community. Often people are home and isolated so that they don't feel that they're connected to people and talking with people. And that is certainly a cause of depression. And we want to offer this as a way for people to stay connected.
Fantastic. And COVID has brought its own, as we just discussed, some of its own issues to older people. An area of the Office of Aging that has always been very important to me as I cared for elders is protective services. Could you share just a little bit about the areas of protective services, the types of abuse, and how an elder could call, or even a neighbor who feels like there might be someone being abused?
Our Older Adult Protective Services program takes calls 24 hours a day, either in the office or through our on-call services. We are protecting older adults from various types of abuse. It can be a financial exploitation case, it can be a physical abuse case, it can be a self-neglect case. We can take a referral from any source in the community. Sometimes an individual might call, a family member might call, a neighbor, somebody from the bank, somebody from the police department, somebody from another human services agency. The calls can really come in from anywhere. We take the report and evaluate it to determine what level of need it might be, and then we respond accordingly. We have timeframes that we must address because our aim is to reduce the risk for that older adult. It's each older adult does have the right to make decisions as far as their life, but we are there to help reduce any risk to the extent that we possibly can.
And that is such a vital service. Specifically, before I ask you to share the general number for the Lebanon Area Agency of Aging, could you share the numbers that someone could call if they want to reach out to protective services, especially if it might be an emergent situation?
Well, anytime anybody who wants to contact us, whether it's for protective services or any other reason, they can call our phone number, 717-273-9262. If it's after hours, our answering machine will direct them to the proper number to call at that point.
Very good. And my understanding is if it does seem like it's an emergent situation, 911 is always very appropriate.
Certainly.
Okay. And if people want to online look at all of the services that your particular area agency provides, what is the web address specifically for the Lebanon AAA?
Our website is www.lebcounty.org. So that's lebcounty.org. From there, look for departments and then aging from there.
Wonderful. And one last time, could you give the phone number of anyone who might like to just pick up the phone and call you?
Certainly, our number again is 717-273-9262.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Thank you so much for your excellent presentation today, sharing the more you know by the Pennsylvania Link to Aging and Disability Resource Service Area 13 Partners Network. My name is Margie Degler Pizarro. I do thank you for joining us today. Be well, and remember, when you need long-term information or assistance, call the PA Link to Aging and Disability Resource Center toll-free hotline at 1-800-753-8827, and I'm going to put that slide up momentarily. And there it is. And I thank you.